What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan and welcome back to another Destiny 2 build guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my personal favourite Warlock builds. I'd actually say this is probably in my top 3 at the moment, and that is a infinite Well of Radiance build using the Phoenix Protocol chest piece. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. So going in first of all to the skill tree, you're going to be using the middle tree for this super. So your super will be a Well of Radiance. Basically you stab your sword in the floor and within a radius you will heal and empower your teammates and yourself. For your melee, you can basically punch an enemy in the face and you will empower yourself and any nearby teammates. Benevolent Dawn is basically healing or empowering allies, regenerates your grenade, melee and rift energy a lot faster. And then you got Divine Protection, where you can hold LB to convert your grenade into a blessing that heals ally targets and drops overshields you and your allies can pick up. Personally, I don't like Divine Protection. The overshield is pretty weak, so I just don't bother with it whatsoever. Personally, I would much rather just throw my grenade at the enemies and it have, deal damage to them, but that's just personal preference. Now, getting into the jump, the rift and the grenade, feel free to use whatever you want, but for the purpose of this video I'm using a solar grenade, I'm using a healing rift, and I'm going to be using a burst glide. Now, going into the exotic that makes this build possible, it is the Phoenix Protocol. Now, if you don't know what the Phoenix Protocol does, kills and assists you make while standing in your Well of Radiance return super energy. So this is an extremely ridiculously good perk. As long as you place your well down where there are lots of enemies around and your teammates and yourself stand within your well, you will never run out of supers. It's absolutely absurd and it's just absolutely amazing, which you'll see when we get into the gameplay. Now, for other armor pieces, you could pretty much use whatever you want. Now, if you're wondering what mods to put in your gear, I wouldn't bother with super mods, personally. You're going to be getting your super back rapidly quick anyway with this chest piece on. So you could opt for something like a grenade cooldown mods, or you could go for melee cooldown mods. It's just completely personal preferences to what you want, but I'd definitely stay away from super mods, at least just because you are using this chest piece for the build. Anyway, let's get into the gameplay. Right guys, so getting into the gameplay now, using your well in key situations like I'm doing within this video is absolutely vital to the build's efficiency. Now what I mean by this is placing your well down when there are plenty of enemies nearby and having your teammates stand within your well so you can actually get your super energy back very quickly. Now in the gameplay you're going to be seeing, this is a prime example of being able to place your Well of Radiance down and actually have your teammates use it effectively. Now in the tier 3 reckoning, obviously when you're doing the bridge, there are multiple capture points. So what you can do is basically stab your sword within the top block and it'll basically cover the entire circle. All of you and your teammates can stand within the circle, receive the health buff where you can pretty much just be invincible inside, and you also get a damage buff also. And because you have the Phoenix Protocol chest piece on, what actually happens is every single kill you or your teammates get whilst you are standing within your well, it will actually give you super energy back. Now as it gets further into the video, you'll actually see me pop I think it's 3 or 4 swords on one point just to try and show you guys how actually effective it can be, and it's pretty ridiculous. You could probably get even more than that on one capture point, if I'm completely honest. So what I'm basically trying to say is make sure you're placing your well down where there are plenty of enemies nearby and your teammates are actually standing within your well. Now you can actually get it back yourself if you just get multiple kills on your own. So it's also very good for solo, but it's definitely more of a team playing build. Now as it gets into the boss fight at the very end where we go kill the knights down in the big dark room, you'll probably see me melee an enemy, and what that does is that will basically give us all a buff for about 5 seconds, and that just basically increases our damage even further. So definitely try and use your melee and empower your teammates as much as you can also, as it's actually very useful. Anyway, I'm just going to let the rest of the gameplay go out. Thank you so much for watching guys, hopefully you enjoy this build, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, peace.